Well, the changes actually involve not just where I've lived, but Western Australia, Perth. I liken it to Northern.
Yeah.
When I was here 62 years ago, this was our little Northern.
Yeah.
And we grew everything in the backyard, and we hardly went to shops. And having a Coca-Cola, you would have been lucky to have that at a wedding. Buying an ice cream was once a year happening because of how poor we were. We had no loose money, and we didn't make ice cream. We made food, vegetables, pigeons, bees, rabbits, chickens, and I know that my mother complained in the early couple of years that when she needed olive oil, she had to buy it from the chemist because it was medicinal, it wasn't for cooking. And we've become a world city, beautiful, and half the size of the big ones that have more problems than we do. So yeah, I've loved this place from day one.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I travel the world with my wife and my friends, and we've been lucky enough to be lucky. And I tell them all, this is the only place to raise a family and to live. The lights of New York City are the flame that burns the moth. And so sometimes we run off looking for paradise and we leave it behind us. We left a paradise that had no food, no work, and had been devastated by the war, and we were still seen in those years as being subhuman because we were the southern Italians, and instead of having black skin we had white skin, but and we came here and we had a fair go, and all the poor people from everywhere, including Australians who went to war and came home stone broke, were in our street too. Yeah. And our glue was poverty. Yeah. And our bartering system was food, and one Australian family had the best carnations in the world, and they brought colour to our life. So pretty awesome, great town, great country, and very proud of being Italian. But being an Australian Italian is probably the best thing in the world.
Yeah. And that fair go, you think we've still got that fair go? You think we need to try hard to hang on to that?
Yeah, I think we have to hang on to it. I think that we have to remember and realise that sometimes we romanticise a bit when we look back to the past. And I think that we're facing some amazing challenges at the moment as a country. And I've seen how much anger and hatred can be generated because the Italians are here, because the Asians are here, because the Japanese are here, because the Muslims are here. And it's always the same repeating story. And I know that it's only most of every race that comes here that wants the Australian life. And I'm sure that there was, the Italian mafia floating around this country. Well, they weren't representing us. No. The Yakuza hanging around this country. They weren't representing the Japanese, I know. The triads. They don't represent the Asian people I know. And the Muslims that I meet have been sensational. And they want to get away from it. And if it's not the parents, it's the kids that want to become Australian and forget about some of the bullshit that happens in their lives. I know my father didn't want us to speak English because he was in a foreign land and he was scared of losing what he was. But we wanted to.
So
and no, mate. It's the greatest gift on this earth because if somebody didn't like me, he would have sent me to America. I don't think I could have coped with that.
Yeah. And so it's that sense of opportunity that Western Australia provides for people that just gives you so much inspiration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to work, and you got to look after each other. The moment you mix working hard and improving yourself with helping others, you've got it all sussed. Until you learn to help others, it sometimes can be a struggle.
Yeah.
Because it's all about you and where you're at. But the more you help others, the more you realise that every day that you're still luckier than what you thought. And suddenly things start improving, and the more you help others, there's always someone here around the corner that remembers you from 20 years ago, from 5 years ago, from last week. Acting with manners and random acts of kindness has got to be the only way that human beings became human beings.
Absolutely. And you've dedicated so much of your life to helping others. I mean, everyone knows Lifeline, but tell us, is volunteering vital for our community, for the health of our community?
I think my excitement really sped up a few years ago when the beautiful Tonya McCusker and Governor McCusker started to try, and I think that they've succeeded in many cases, and introduce charity and giving in schools. I was lucky enough to be asked to help in my 30s because I just was lucky enough to become the butcher that went on radio with Graham Mabry.
Yep.
And so, we struggled most of our life. I was a suicidal bedwetter when I was younger, and but I chose, not to go down that path. But it was always on the table in my mind because I thought that I could never get married, I could never lead a normal life, could never go on camps, visit friends and spend the night at their house. So I understood what it meant, but I didn't realise what it meant in the bigger picture. I was just a kid who had a few problems. And as I started, I won a butchering competition. It brought me a bit of happiness, and I stopped wetting the bed. So self-esteem started to happen. When I opened I'm lucky enough to meet a lovely woman who we shared a great 47 years together, married for 45 next January. And we opened a butcher shop together, and our life was good. We were getting somewhere, and we left school a bit younger, but we had a dedication. But when I went on radio with Graham Mabry, I virtually met our own local Pope.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, you get affected by people that you admire, and we need more people to admire, and we need them to be. We used to admire police without convictions. We used to admire school teachers without convictions, politicians without convictions. And so we've lost our way along the way, and we don't always have beacons of light. Well, Graham was my beacon of light. When I met him, I couldn't believe the man was real. We fell in food love very quickly. I offered to do food at any of his fundraisers as a way of getting my foot in the door. I thought, charity was done by people on television at South Fork in America. And Graham started telling me the stuff he used to do to help others, and we started to do a few things together, and it was nice. Yeah. And my wife would hear about it because she would stay home because I was out there carving meat and doing stuff. And she says, why don't we have a little fundraiser in the back of our house, and we can cook food, and somebody can bring drinks, and people can buy tickets. We give all the money to Lifeline. And I thought, what a nice way. And at that stage, I hadn't come across anybody in my life that had committed suicide. And we started it. And this little thing just grew every year. And then one day, one of my best friends left a wife and 4 young boys because he couldn't cope. Yeah. And he never rang me, never rang anybody. And it suddenly became real. And I realised I had to work harder. And it was good. It was good. The moment we started helping, we'd look at each other from, so often how lucky are we? How lucky are our kids? And life has been a wonderful journey, eh? It's not been easy. I always say to people there's a scale of 1 to 10. 1, you get everything for nothing and easy, and 10, you work your guts out and you bleed. Where would you like to be on that scale?
Yeah.
The lazy ones stay down here.
Yeah.
The masochistic ones stay over there. Yeah. I say about 75–80%. I want to work for my success. I want to help other people. I don't want it to come easy. Yeah. When it comes easy, it's not pleasurable. Yeah. It's not long lasting. So we've had an amazing journey. Lifeline always needs help. When I started helping them, they weren't getting any government money. Yeah. They get some now, not enough. But at the same time, I do believe that it's a community thing. If you only keep hammering our governments to pay for everything, I explained to a few people in my belief, when we as a community work together, we can make something happen for $1. Yeah. But the government can only make it happen for $10. Yep. And so when we do it ourselves, we save an awful lot of money, of our money.
Yeah, precisely.
And we own it.
Yeah.
So we got to do things combined. Sometimes the government should just be nurturing it a bit. Yep. But stay out of our way too.
Create the environment where that can flourish.
Make it easy. Yep. Make it easy for people to be good. Yep. Make it easy for people to work hard and try. And my life with Lifeline is a bigger part than I ever thought it would grow to. But it consumes me and my family in the most beautiful way. And I would like to think that I can have a bearing on elderly people waking up to not only how much they have needs, but how much they can do and give, that sometimes we've forgotten that they need to be asked.